Happy morning, children. Today, the types of reflexes. What are reflexes and reflex action? We already learned. When any stimulus is applied on the body part, when sensory neuron generates the nerve impulse, and the nerve impulse generated by the sensory neuron goes from effector organ to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord itself analyze it and generate the response back to motor neuron to the effector organ is without involvement of brain is reflex action. Now, types of reflexes here. Look at this: unconditioned reflex and conditioned reflex. These two major types of reflexes we have to learn today. Unconditioned, first one, unconditioned reflexes. What are unconditional reflexes? They are involuntary. Unconditioned reflexes are involuntary and conditioned reflexes are voluntary in nature. Why are unconditioned reflexes involuntary? Example you can take. A newborn infant sucking the mother's milk. Sucking the milk of infant. A newborn infant will suck mother's breast milk. That comes under this unconditional reflexes. They are unconscious and inborn reflexes. The unconditioned reflexes, they are involuntary and they are inborn and they are unconscious. They are inborn in every individual, they are present. They are inborn, so they are involuntary. One is sucking of milk by infant from the mother's breast. Another example you can take for this unconditioned reflex, involuntary reflex. As I told you, they are unconscious and they are inborn reflexes. If any object is brought closer to the eye, the blinking of eye starts. The eyelid starts blinking. No, if any object is brought very close to it. So this are the example of unconditional reflexes, which are involuntary. They are inborn. Whereas the second kind of reflexes, conditioned reflexes. These conditioned reflexes they are not inborn, they are not unconscious. They are learned by individual by doing the act number of times repeatedly. These conditioned reflexes, they are voluntary in nature and they are learned, they are developed, they are produced by an individual or an organism in its lifetime by doing the same act repeatedly number of times. Such reflexes we call them as conditioned reflexes or voluntary reflexes, which are voluntary. For example, you are taught to stand in attention position when the moment you hear the national anthem. It is being taught to you in your school. Even today, the moment we hear the sound of a national anthem, our body posture goes in that way. So this kind of conditioned reflexes, they are not inborn, they are taught and they are memorized, they are stored in an organism's lifetime by doing the same act repeatedly number of times. Now, on this conditioned reflex, a famous Russian scientist is named Ivan Pavlov. He was a Russian scientist. He conducted a famous experiment, very popular experiment on this conditioned reflexes. What was the Ivan Pavlov's experiment? He has taken one dog. The dog was taken and the dog was given a food. Food is produced in front of the dog. Then quite natural, the moment the dog looked at the food, it starts salivating. The dog started salivating. Looking at the food, the dog started salivating. In this first attempt, the second attempt, what he has done, the dog was not given the food. Instead of food, what he has done, he ring the bell. He ring the bell and not produce the food. The dog was not produced any food, was not given any food. Only the dog made to listen, to hear the sound of bell. So the dog was not salivated. Not salivated. The next time, what he has done, he rang the bell and he produced the food. First, before producing food to the dog, he rang the bell. Bell sound was produced. Then later, food was produced. Then the dog started salivation. The next attempt, what he has done, he rang the bell only, but food was not produced. Food was not produced, only bell sound was given. Though the dog started salivation. See, in the first case, what happened? The dog was given food, produced food. By looking at the food, the dog started salivating. It's quite natural that the moment the dog looked at the food, started salivating, because the dog knows that the food will be given to me to eat, to feed on it. So, in the second case, what he has done, he has not produced food, not given food to the dog. Only he made the dog to listen the sound of bell. Bell rang. Then the dog not salivated. In the next attempt, what he has done, bell sound was produced before giving the food. The dog was habitually in the first attempt that bell sound was ring, food was not given. Now bell sound was given and immediately food was produced. The very next attempt, what he has done, he rang the bell before giving the food. Even though food was not produced in front of the dog, food was not given yet, the moment the dog heard the sound of bell, started salivating. That means Ivan Pavlov, a Russian scientist, he proved that any organism in his lifetime, he can learn the voluntary reflexes, conditioned reflexes, by doing the same act repeatedly number of times. And such responses generated, such stimulus shown by organism towards the conditioned reflexes are called voluntary in nature. So in this way, the reflexes are classified in two categories: unconditional reflexes and conditional reflexes, which are inborn, unconscious, and their conditioned reflexes are voluntary. They are not inborn, they are produced, they are developed, they are learned by an organism in their lifetime by doing the same act repeatedly number of times. Such as example, the dog experiment shown by a Russian scientist Ivan Pavlov based on the conditional reflexes. So this is about today, children, types of reflexes, unconditional reflexes and conditional reflexes. We'll meet in our next session. There we'll discuss about the structure of human brain and the functions of human brain. And this is performed. Conditional reflexes are controlled by cerebral cortex of the brain. When we discuss about brain in its functions, various parts, at that time we'll come to know that what is cerebral cortex, what is cerebral hemisphere, what are the specific function of that part. So here we have to remember this: conditioned reflexes are not inborn, they are not unconscious, they are learned by an individual in their lifetime by doing the same act number of times repeatedly. And these reflexes, conditioned reflexes, are controlled by cerebral cortex of our brain. So based on these conditioned reflexes, this is a good example for conditional reflexes conducted by a Russian scientist Ivan Pavlov. Okay, thank you.